Hello and welcome to the extremely long-awaited Tenchi video Q&A, Patron Q&A.
Hey, I love when that drop hits and the dishwasher noises.
Yeah, we live in a studio apartment and our dishwasher's running. It's fine.
It's fine. Hey everybody, it's me, Alyssa. I'm here too.
And it's me, Hazel. It's been a really long time since we've recorded one of these. It's been a really long time since that video came out.
Yeah, we went on vacation, sort of.
Well,
Hazel needed a break.
I had a lot of weird health issues crop up out of nowhere.
Hazel was falling apart.
Still in the process of trying to figure out. Physically, I was falling apart.
Hazel's
like quite
still
literally.
Falling apart.
Yeah.
Somewhat less.
I'm doing okay now. I'm just trying not to use my arm for anything under any circumstance.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hard.
Hazel's not allowed to lift anything over 5 pounds now.
Yeah, I'm fucking geriatric. Okay. So yeah, this video kind of holds a bit of emotional baggage in my brain still because of the fucking bunk age restriction that it got. Oh, Wander, don't bat at the curtain.
Wander, don't do that. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Everything's trying to thwart us.
It's fine. Let's just start.
Yeah.
Let's go. Do you read the names?
I do. I should.
Goji Dragon asks, damn, how have I not heard of this one before? I'm pausing the video at the 16-minute mark to go watch it, but I want to know how you keep finding these gems and what are the qualities in an anime for you to want to make a video on them.
Wonder, that's a good question.
Wonder, I hate you. I mean, this one was one I grew up with, so obviously I forced Hazel to watch it.
Yeah, I don't think I said it in the script, but I was one of those people that was like, oh, that's just like a harem show. Why would I want to watch that? It seems like so passé. Like what? I'm gonna watch Love Hina next? May or may not be thinking about doing that for a different video. We'll see.
I would watch Love Hina with you.
Aw, really?
I would watch anything with you.
Anything?
Well, maybe anything. I did watch Butt Punisher Attack Girl Go.
Yeah, it was great.
Or whatever it's called.
It was a great time.
So Hazel, let's boil this question down a little more because they're asking what qualities in an anime make you want to do a video on them. Do you feel like there's some kind of spark in videos or in anime that you see where you're like, ooh, I can smell.
Number one is that how the fuck did this happen radar. I may or may not be planning to do a video on a particular anime that a friend mentioned out of the blue that seems like so, you know when something is really infamously bad but only among the group of people who know about it?
Yeah.
So it's not like one of those things where a lot of people know that it's dog shit and say like, oh yeah, isn't that the worst anime of all time?
No, only the reals know
it's
only
bad. The reals know it's the worst shit in the entire world. I think I've found one of those and I may or may not be planning to do a video on it.
I'm excited for that one. But you cover a lot of anime that you think is good too. Do you feel like when you're watching an anime, like you get like a spark of like, ooh, like this is inspiring me to talk about it in particular?
It's hard because I haven't really done a video that's pretty straightforwardly like, here's why I love a thing that I love, or here's why you might like it in a while now. I think like I've talked about it elsewhere, but I have my good hat on so much of the time that I think that like it's really easy for me to find something worth kind of celebrating in most any anime that I watch.
So would you say that it's a little more so it just has to be something that has something of interest about it?
Yeah, exactly.
So
like
much as
when I was working on that OVA video, the things that I felt the most inspired and excited to talk about were the things that most felt unlike anything else. And I think that is generally a quality that I find really attractive in anime when I'm approaching whether or not to do a video on it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think I used to be someone who was really desperate to kind of find a read in something.
Yeah.
But I think I only think small thoughts now.
Brain capacity has been lowered.
Yeah.
Jay Wang says, I heard about Tenchi Muyo a few years ago. I knew it as a harem anime series with a niche following, but I didn't know the series had complex lore and a deep visual storytelling. What's the recent anime show or any form of media with that kind of complexity that's worth comparing to Tenchi Muyo?
Interesting. I feel like something like Fate is not equivalent because it's so big and it's such a multimedia property, where the weird thing about Tenchi is that it's kind of stayed squarely in the anime and light novel sphere.
Yeah.
For the majority of its run.
It's had extra curricular materials, but it does mostly focus on its novels and its
maybe
anime.
like the Monogatari series. I don't know anything about those anime.
Yeah, I don't either. I think I tried watching the first one and I didn't get it, so I stopped watching.
Just in terms of something that kind of is almost like an umbrella franchise as much as it is something that follows a consistent cast of characters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch anime anymore.
Yeah, I don't really watch. I haven't seen anything new.
Yeah.
Like, I literally was like, what are modern anime that I like? Well, I liked Toradora. It came out in 2008. Why does that feel new to me?
Yeah. Whenever people ask me what new anime I've been watching, I mean, I tend to watch old anime that I haven't seen yet. Yeah. So I don't have any good answers. No Milk, No Sugar says, who are you?
Nobody.
Arpeggio?
I think I've been saying Arpeggio.
That makes more sense.
But I don't know if that's accurate or not. They haven't corrected me yet.
Arpeggio says, who are your top 5 favorite women in anime? Didn't you make this list recently?
I made a 3x3 grid.
Yeah. Who was your 3x3?
Mihoshi was on there. So was Lucy from Elfen Lied. She's kind of like I feel sort of like indebted to her. I feel like I've sort of...
Thank you, Lucy, for my life.
Yeah, I've sort of like...
Thank you, Lucy, for my YouTube career.
She truly was the Jesus Christ figure that she was played up to be in the manga. She sacrificed herself so that my career could launch. Oh, God.
Misato?
Yeah, Misato is probably my number one. I'm a really big fan of good old fashioned Hatsune Miku, even though every time I say that it sounds like I'm saying that Hello Kitty is my favorite Sanrio character. But I just like her a lot. Yeah. I'm
a Rin girl myself.
Yeah. I like Rin a lot. She's probably my second favorite these days. I also I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the channel, but I really like Arcuid from Tsukihime and Melty Blood.
Is that the blonde bitch?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, she's not really a character that I know anything about. I literally just think her design is really cool.
I mean, isn't that how most people engage with, like, Toho?
Yeah, basically.
Like, you just kind of pick one. It doesn't really matter. If you like the lore, that's just a bonus.
Yeah, you're very right.
I feel that way about a lot of characters, especially ones who just have good designs, where I'm just like, I just like you.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, but I like you.
Alyssa and I watched Lucky Star recently. We rewatched it for the first time in like a decade. I came out of it feeling pretty gosh darn fondly for Kagami.
Yeah, Kagami's good. Who's my favorite Lucky Star? I feel like I don't know.
You're the most, you're like what's her name? Miyuki?
Yeah, the pink bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Miyuki's the most like me, but I was actually kind of surprised at how little of a character I felt like she was.
Yeah.
Like, I even feel like she's sort of not a part of the core cast as much as marketing would lead you to believe otherwise. Maybe it's different in the manga, but at least as far as the anime was concerned, it felt like she was just kind of a side character who orbited the main girls, like the main three, which I found kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of funny that her being rich sort of ostracized her from their friend group. Like, yeah, I kind of get that. You gotta hang with the bitches who are in your in your class bracket.
Group, yeah. I also really liked the like other group of girls, like almost more than the main cast, like the Fujoshi and the
tiny girl, and then the Yuki Nagato.
Yeah, the two Yuri coded ones, and then the American Girl. She's so fucking funny.
Yeah, Patricia.
Yeah. I don't think that's a good anime.
No,
but
it's not.
I already feel very fondly about it.
It's just old enough now that you can feel nostalgic for it.
Yeah.
Geez, I mean, top 5 anime women. I feel like I have to say Ryoko just because she was my OG. Lum, for sure. Lum is up there. Terriermon. Next question.
Yeah, Terriermon's good.
Let's see, where's the question in this one? Bluebee says... should I read that section?
Yeah.
Okay. Bluebee says, Alyssa's story about being a kid writing about Tenchi so she wouldn't forget what it was hit me with a wild memory that inspired this question for both of you. Do you have any twisted half memories of early anime exposure that ended up being nothing like what it actually was? And if not, what's the first anime that just generally freaked you the fuck out? I love this question.
That's such a good question. I feel like I had a few, maybe not with anime, but like more so with like renting games as a kid and stuff like that.
I had a lot of weird random children's anime that I either caught on TV or like I downloaded from random websites just because it said it was all ages friendly, and I was like, I won't get in trouble for watching this. God. See, it's hard because the ones I do remember are the ones that like I remember too well.
Yeah.
For them to be a half memory. Jeez. This is such a good question, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I think a lot of it was like having really like vague memories of something that like I didn't really register as being out of the ordinary as a kid, but that wound up really like solidifying in my brain later on. Yeah. I rented Quest 64 as a kid. That's one of 4, I think, N64 RPGs.
Weird.
And I couldn't get past the castle area. And I think it caused me to think that that was the whole game.
I did that with Rayman 64. I couldn't get past like the first area because I didn't realize there was a hole you could drop down into to continue the game. So I kept restarting that opening sequence over and over just because I was like, well, Rayman's cool and I like him, but is this the whole game? Like, I feel like there's got to be more here, but I can't figure it out. I also just watched like a lot of whatever random anime I could find on TV. So like, I remember it clearly enough that it's not a half memory, but fighting Foodons kind of feels like one of those things. That
that's a fever dream.
People would have cursed fever dream memories about.
Yeah, I didn't watch too much anime that was like adult.
I watched a tiny bit of, I think it was Rurouni Kenshin, RIP. Not really knowing what it was, but I thought the art style was really cool.
Yeah. I remember seeing like Toonami's bumpers for it as a kid and being like, that seems too intense for me to be allowed to watch it, but it also seems really fucking cool.
I kind of didn't think I'd be allowed to watch it, so my only recollection was like dropping in halfway through an episode and being like, oh, it looks cool, I'm just gonna watch a little bit, and then there was like a bathhouse peeping scene or something. I was like, no, I'm gonna go to hell now. I can't watch this. So I guess that's as close to a scary half memory.
Yeah. I watched the second to last episode of Cowboy Bebop as a kid, and that's the only episode of that show I've ever seen.
Okay. So something else was I rented a lot of anime DVDs from Netflix back when you got them on a disc, and Netflix was not a streaming service yet. So I rented a few episodes of All-Purpose Cultural Cat Girl Nuku Nuku, which in and of itself also has fever dream-like qualities. I think I only rented the first disc, and I wanted to rent more, but I accidentally rented a disc from the sequel series, which is called like Nuku Nuku Dash or something. And the opening theme song sequence has like a shot of... so in the first series, it's like this really tiny young boy and Nuku Nuku, who's like, I don't know, she's like older teen / young adult coded.
But she's like she's literally
but she's got the brain of a cat,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they do like some fucking kind of Astro Boy thing where like a cat gets killed.
Yeah,
so they like put the cat's brain in like an android. So she's kind of got the brain of a cat. Anyway, in the sequel series, I think the characters are meant to be older. So like the boy is like a young adult now or something, and there's a scene very briefly in the Nuku Nuku Dash opening where she's like leaning over him in bed or something, like kissing him, and I was super scandalized by it because it was just fast enough where I was like, was that sex? Oh god, is there sex in this? This is totally not the Nuku Nuku I was watching. So I think I got freaked out and I didn't watch anymore. Like I didn't watch the rest of the DVD and I was just like, I'm done watching this DVD. Let's send it back.
I guess I gotta wait another 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 business days.
Oh, way more than that. You had to like wait a week.
Fuck.
Yeah, shit was. You had to work if you wanted to watch anime.
That is, yeah, that's true.
It's a hustle.
And then they also ask if we've seen Magical Shopping Arcade Abenobashi. I would like to. It seems good.
I think I've watched a little bit of it because I think there's
believe...
either a DigiCarrot reference in Magical Shopping Arcade or Magical Shopping Arcade references in DigiCarrot.
I think it would be the first one because I think that anime is from like 2003, 2004. I want to say it's a Gainax and Production IG co-production, which is how I know about it.
I could be making that shit up, but yeah, I was curious about it. Emmy Butt says, I thought the bit about the boom of anime production in the 90s was very interesting, particularly relating to the current situation. How do you think this climate of digitally produced seasonal anime made under tight deadlines for massive audiences in both the East and the West that still look for high quality animation will progress? Do you think it'll reach a breaking point or just stall and then repeat again like I think it did after that 90s boom?
It's hard because my knee-jerk reaction was, well, I kind of hope it it reaches a breaking point, but I know that means people will lose their jobs.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to lose their jobs.
But the difficulty with that is that those jobs are maybe a little bit worth losing.
Yeah, I think the anime industry as it is right now is unsustainable in terms of workload. Like, just from what I've read about it, it seems... I mean, like, if you even just compare it to how often new American cartoons come out,
it's crazy.
We get like maybe 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, I'm underestimating and also only counting series that are like actually on my radar, but we only get a handful of new animated series in America every year, and that's with like a shit ton of outsourcing to like Canada and Korea and the Philippines. If it's that hard for America, which is a pretty like huge giant in the entertainment industry, to produce animated series, and mostly like pretty simple looking animated series too, if we're being honest.
Not even saying that pejoratively, but just by comparison.
But by comparison, you know, animation, producing dozens of new anime every season, like, that's insane to me. Might be a little apples to oranges because obviously there's more animation studios in Japan, so there's more infrastructure to support the continued production. But
it's just crazy to think about how merchandise heavy anime is.
Oh yeah.
And how much profit that generates, and how literally none of it is going to
the animators
and paying them better wages.
Yeah.
Like the fucked up thing about it is like people have said like, well, if you want to support anime and support animators getting better wages, don't illegally download anime. But I feel like that's such a flawed argument when no matter what, that money isn't getting filtered to them at all.
It probably is, at least in part, but I do think a lot of animators' initial wages depends on just like viewing upon the first, like the... Sorry, I'm blanking on the word. Like when they first air it.
Really? They're paid retroactively? Because I was under the impression that they were just making wages.
I would need to read more about it. I don't really know, and I don't want to spread misinformation.
Yeah, I was under the impression that they were making wages. Yeah, it was like on
my
like
understanding
a
is that
frame
they're
basis.
Yeah, by frame.
Yeah.
But what I mean is like the initial like success of the airing.
Oh yeah,
dictates like how those animators fair next
How much
season.
the budget for
That's
them,
just
yeah.
speculative, though. I don't know that concretely. That's just the
Yeah.
impression I've gotten from the way people talk about it. It also does not help that I feel like the Japanese entertainment industry is not terribly transparent about those kinds of
No.
things. Like, I feel like if any kind of unethical crunch happens in an American studio, people have a little more recourse for complaining about it.
Yeah.
I don't
Like, I genuinely think the only reason why we haven't seen Jason Schreier articles about Japanese companies is because nobody's talking over there.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
think
just
people are
such an
afraid to.
expected part of the
Well, they don't
want to
get
culture.
ostracized from their career choice.
Yeah.
But again, I don't concretely know exactly how the industry works over there. I can only speculate. So
Yeah.
my point is, I just don't think, at least from an outside perspective, that it's working at a sustainable rate right now, or at least not one that's ethically sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's concerning.
Yeah.
But hey, we live in a capitalist hellscape.
Yep.
So keep the animes. Oh, and let's not even start on how underpaid translators for
Jesus fucking
simulcasts
Christ. Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Like, to pump that shit out. Like, often translators for the subtitles for anime that are getting, like, what's the term? Simulcast?
Simuldubbed, simulcasted.
Whatever to America
Yeah.
at the same time it airs in Japan. Like, a lot of those translators apparently get the script to translate, like, the day it's due.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, dude, that's a lot of work. And then they translate, like, one thing kind of wrong, or, like, they use a word that weebs don't like, and then they're getting, like, dragged on the internet because, the agenda, I don't even know, whatever. That's
stupid bullshit.
That's its whole own other thing, but anyway. Hurry Up Snufkin says, I love this video. I'm curious if you have more thoughts on really good anime dubs. What do you think makes a good dub? I find that the more they let English actors off the chain and give them freedom to make strong choices, the better chance it stands of being a solid one. Speaking of which, did you watch Kaguya-sama Love is War dub? It's absolutely choice.
Let's go ahead and combine that with this question as well.
Beatman says, what other anime dubs can you think of that aren't anime dubby? Hearing about how Tenchi's dub is not like the typical anime dub and saying the actors mostly came for theater got me thinking. I remember watching the dub for Cromartie. Is that how that's pronounced?
Yeah, I've always said Cromartie High School.
And some of the cast, Kamiyama and Hayashida, stick out to me as natural sounding, which fits simultaneously wacky and straight-faced deadpan humor. Then there's Golden Boy, which you already mentioned. Kintaro is something else. A lot of old anime fall into this because they came out for a standard anime dub quality of set.
And I think that when I think about good anime dubs, I largely think of stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I think about GTO and things that aren't necessarily faithful. Mm-hmm. And where, like, that would probably suck to only have access to it if you were in the 90s, but where, like, now it's such an interesting relic that it kind of becomes its own thing.
Yeah, I think what people are picking up on when they say letting the voice actors off the chain is the fact that dubs that aren't trying so hard to be a perfect one-to-one to a language cast that is not one-to-oneable with English in cadence, in voice, in delivery, in sense of humor and timing. It's not one-to-one, and you get sort of a translationese but with voices. And I think anime fans who've been watching anime a long time get used to it, and they almost come to expect it and think that anything divergent from that is changing too much. But to that I say, then just learn Japanese and watch the original Five-Head. I feel like English dub should be enjoyable for English speakers to watch.
Absolutely.
And to that end, I think that a good dub is just as much the voice cast as it is the voice director and the translator.
Absolutely.
And it is my understanding that sometimes voice directors for dubs will sort of on the fly adjust lines to fit either better with the tone that the character's going for or for the length of time that the line lasts.
Yeah. I think you're really dead on about that, and I think it's something a lot of people don't think about. But when you look at, like, an actor, like certain famous actors, like dub actors, and what a cavernous gap there can be sometimes in their performances. I think a lot of that does really come down to the influence of the voice director.
Yeah. I mean, like, so going back to Tenchi, right? We've got Debbie Derryberry voicing the girl in the third Tenchi movie, Haruna. And she sounds terrible in that role. She straight up sounds bad. So who do we blame for that? Do we blame her when she's a really good voice actress everywhere else she's ever been heard?
Yeah.
Do we blame the voice director when the Tenchi cast is generally pretty solid? Do we blame the translation? Like, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and one of those things is just that, like, dubbing really is a different beast than regular voice acting.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things a voice actor has to keep in mind that they don't normally have to keep in mind. Like, when you're dubbing, you have to mind the lip flap and the amount of time you have and, like, how much needs to be said. And, like, sometimes you don't have a lot of context for why a character is saying something. Whereas an English cast for an original English production, I think they usually record the voices first and then animate to it.
I believe that's true.
Which I have to imagine. Actually, they might do the dubbing method in Japanese too. They might animate. No, there's no way. Anyway, ignore that. I'm spreading misinformation. But yeah, so when you are not just voice acting, you're watching characters, you're watching mouth flaps, you're thinking about this time constraint. There's so many more things at play than just saying something good that I think that can really stifle an actor who's not ready for it or who's not, like, used to it.
I want to shout out the Nia Under 7 dub because it is really weird. I'm fairly certain that they had to redub all of the sound effects.
Oh my
God.
God.
A lot of the actors aren't very good, but the main character's performance is fucking awesome. I want to say she was in, like, a season of All That, and that was, like, her main thing before doing that, and then she just kind of fell off the face of the earth. But she delivers, like, a really good, really, like, kind of fiery performance in that is, like, one of the highlights of that anime in my mind.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't really recommend any good anime dubs because I'm a sub whore, so I don't watch dubs very often if I can manage.
I like what I've seen of the concession that you have to make at a certain point is, like, do I want to have to give this my full attention or not?
Sure.
And for longer things, I almost always give the dub a shot. Like, we started watching Nadia, Secret of Blue Water, and I was really hoping to get to watch the dub because it's, like, 50 episodes long.
Yeah.
But they gave Jean, like, a bad French accent.
Oh, yeah, it was unlistenable.
It's fucked.
I watched a lot of Cardcaptor Sakura dubbed, the more recent dub that doesn't censor lesbianisms.
I like that dub okay. I find it charming.
It is not good, but for background watching, it was serviceable.
Yeah.
Have I brought this up before on your channel? How they pronounce Sakura's mom's name?
Or no, yeah.
Oh, it's
They say her name is Nadeshiko.
Right. Her name's Nadeshiko, and Tomoyo's voice actor says it as Nadeshiko. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. I think that dub is fun for me because it is one of the most idiosyncratic dubs.
Yeah.
Like, again, like everybody says Sakura's name is Sakura.
Sakura.
It's very out there.
You're amazing. Thanks, Tomoyo. Oh, there's some really good scenes of Sakura and what's his name? The Megumi Ogata guy. Fucking Julian in the old dub. I'm blanking on what his actual name is.
What is his name?
Silver-haired bitch.
Yeah, he's so cute. What is his name?
He's very cute. I love him, and I don't remember his name.
I don't remember either.
Her brother's
boyfriend.
There are a lot of good scenes in the dub of those two interacting just, like, the most awkwardly possible. like zero chemistry between the
it's
actors.
really funny.
There's a particular good one. I wish I remembered the episode, but there's some kind
The
of festival,
fireworks, right?
Yeah, and they like go to like look at fireflies, and I swear to God, the dialogue plays out like Sakura will be like, "Wow, it's so beautiful," and he's like, "Yeah." "Wow, it's amazing." "Yeah." And it just like goes on like that for like half a minute. It's so awkward. I love it.
Yeah. I find that like late 90s dubs are the sweet spot for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there is that kind of like accidental naturalism.
Mm-hmm.
Kare Kano has like a really interesting dub in that regard, where it's like half Foxbox Pokemon voice actors
Mm-hmm.
and then half like nobodies, and everyone's kind of like bringing their best in a weird way. Like the main boy, I don't remember his name.
Kare.
Yeah. the titular Kareshi.
The titular Kare.
Yeah. He gives like he's very like delicate and soft spoken in a way that I think it makes his character really, really charming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the only other examples I can think of, like Tenchi, where a character's voice acting lends to more characterization that wouldn't be there otherwise, or wouldn't be as pronounced otherwise.
Yeah, totally. Maybe this is a cheat, but I would say overall the Danganronpa games have pretty decent dubs too.
Absolutely.
I fucking cannot stand Komaeda's dub voice.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I don't really... Saihara's dub voice is a good actor, but compared to the Japanese voice makes him a totally different character.
I think the difficulty with Danganronpa is that nobody should play those games dubbed, because the Japanese cast is so obnoxiously star-studded.
Yeah, they're amazing. But if you play it in English, I don't think you're missing out on too much.
No, I think if you have an ear for Seiyu, you should play it in Japanese. But
yeah.
I think most people played it with the English voice casts, and I think that's okay. Like, I'm not going to get like up in arms about somebody willingly choosing.
Yeah.
I would just recommend that the Japanese is a good option.
Yeah.
It also makes playing those games a lot faster if you don't care about letting the dialogue finish all the way out before going to the next line.
But what I was going to say is that those casts, because there's 3 different games, they all capture the energy of the characters really well, without necessarily being like literal one-to-ones with the Japanese performances.
I think those games have really good translations too. Okay.
Noitch says, can you define hazelcore? What are the qualities that make a piece of art hazelcore? I'd love to hear what Hazel thinks about, or what Alyssa thinks about it too. Also, I adore the little Hazel and Alyssa in the thumbnail. Thank you, I drew it. I think hazelcore is things that are kind of shitty, but in a charming way.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, things that are shitty and like kind of abrasive and
but not always.
kind of just like crusty, you know.
Hazel loves crusty things.
Things that are like wow, you really gave it your all and you failed. But you gave it your all, and that's worth something.
Yeah. We got singles in the chat.
Yeah, this is our fucking beach episode, apparently. We got the running water, the waves of our dishwasher. Yeah, I think my channel is very much so me attempting to define hazelcore.
Yeah. An exploration of the psyche of hazelcore. Ali Mohamed says, I recall you once stating how many hours it took for you to make one of your videos. Do you log your work time? If so, why? She does it like obsessively. She has an incredibly elaborate
I'll talk
chart.
about that, yeah.
And if you've logged the hours put into this video, how many hours did it take you to watch, research, write, record, and edit this one? This feels like something that should take at least a month to make, but you seem to have released this shortly after multiple other videos in the past weeks. I know this is your job and you work a lot, but even at 40 hours of work a week, it still seems crazy how frequent and abundant your videos are. Please teach me your ways of time management. First of all, become a Virgo and fall in love with charts and spreadsheets.
So I can tell you right now, for the Tenchi video, I put
I editing time? Is that?
No, it's total time. I spent 127 hours on that video. I worked on it over the course of... I had started working on it in terms of, like, when I started watching the anime, rewatching it in August, and it came out in December. So that was concurrent with a lot of other videos. A lot of the videos that I made between them had really fast turnarounds. My Rekinder video was made in 6 days. My Claymation horror video was made in 6 days. The Sonic Adventure video was made in 7 days. But, and I really want to stress this here. As I was working last year, this was something that I wanted to say then, but I felt like I couldn't because I was in the throes of it. I was crunching nonstop. I worked 7 days a week.
All day?
Often 8 to 12 hours a day. That Tenchi video was, the last chunk of it was edited over a literal 32-hour period straight of working. I pulled an all-nighter and worked all the way through the night and into the day.
Yeah, most of last year I would be like, will you eat dinner with me? You'd be like, I have to work. You would work while eating dinner.
Yeah. And the really hard thing about it, too, is that I saw results from that. And that taught me, or rather, I allowed that to ingrain upon me that it was something that I just kind of had to keep doing. But at the start of this year, at the end of last year, I had an aural migraine. I had to look into this. Not aural as in music, but aural as in an aura. Where in one of my eyes, I started seeing, like, sunspots, basically. But, like, one of them kept growing until it was so big that it had, like, escaped my vision. And I looked into it, and people were like, well, that can mean your retina's detaching. And so I was like, all right, I think I'm going on vacation. And I did not work until the end of the year, or until the start of this year. And this year I have been working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 9 to 5, just doing what I can in that time period. And then I'm clocking out when that's done, even if I have the compulsion to keep working. And that has been so much fucking healthier for me.
I actually get to eat dinner with you now.
Yeah, we get to do things together
I get to
again.
enjoy my wife.
Yeah. So my ways of time management are if you're doing something like this full time, to just kind of force yourself to set strict regimens, because the other part about it is that I do better work from 9 to 5. When I was in script writing phases for other videos, it could take a lot of time to write because I was so blocked and getting distracted so easily. So a lot of times I would be working an 8-hour period, like an 8-hour workday over the course of like 14. And that whole time I'm still thinking about work. That's not good.
Yeah, having a concrete start and end to your workday is really important.
Yeah.
At least for me, for productivity.
Yeah. And when I was doing this while working jobs and working on music while working jobs, it was the sort of thing where I just kind of did it because I couldn't not do it. Like, it was a matter of compulsion that was bringing me to make those things. I just felt really strongly about them and really wanted to make them. And so I think I kind of found the time for them. But I feel like there's a weird gradient where you go from that period to it being a job. And I think somewhere in there, it became really easy for me to go, I don't deserve to make a living doing something I love when other people don't have that.
Yeah.
I need to work as hard as possible to justify that.
Yeah.
And I need to hold on to that feeling of making something through sheer compulsion, desperately. But yeah, I posted about it to patrons, but I made like a really comprehensive spreadsheet on one of the days that I took off at the end of last year, tallying up all of the hours that I spent. I do highly recommend logging your hours. I think when I was doing it a little bit less regimentedly, it kind of caused me to fixate on the amount of time I was spending. Like, there was almost like a degree to which I was sort of playing a game with myself of like, how much can I work this week? Oh, 70 hours? Wow.
Want to see how hard I can cry?
Yeah.
Want to see how hard I can crunch?
Literally.
Yeah.
And I think that I've kind of found a healthier way of managing that now. And I think that what is most useful for me in logging my hours is kind of figuring out, being able to kind of predict with all of this data how long a given thing is going to take me. And kind of using that to gauge out like a schedule for when videos will be coming out.
Yeah.
So
I think for anyone who works on anything sort of at their own pace or on their own schedule, I really highly recommend setting concrete start and stop times.
Yeah. Like, this is a part of my work day.
Yeah. Even for things that you think are fun. I mean, unless you're just purely doing it for yourself for hobby. Because then you fall into thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
Always feeling a little bit of guilt for it all the time. And even if you're not like sitting in front of it working on it, that is essentially time you are spending on it. And that's not good for you to do all the time.
Absolutely not. It wasn't good for my mind. I did okay. I wasn't like...
It was bad for your physical health, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the bigger issue is my physical health.
Yeah.
I have to have a fucking, like... I had to buy the hundreds of dollars of equipment to continue working in a way that was more ergonomic for me. And I'm still working that out.
Yeah.
I got done working yesterday and I was hanging out in a Discord server with some friends. And just texting them on my laptop keyboard was enough for me to
get arm pain.
Yeah, to get arm pain.
Yeah. Set boundaries with yourself. Set realistic goals. I think those are the most important things to do, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Agon, the Chimera Demon, says, my friend just a month ago asked me about the series, and we had fairly distinct memories of watching this when we were like 7. Independently of this, another friend of mine asked about the series. Then your video came out. Was there just something in the current cultural zeitgeist that inspired you to deep dive this show that you also filtered into me and my millennial buddies remembering this? Or just what sent you on the Tenchi rabbit hole? Again, it was just me feeling nostalgic and being like, Hazel, you have an anime channel. Watch Tenchi with me.
I wish I could remember what it was that caused us to want to go back and rewatch it, because we watched Tenchi Universe for the first time together.
A few years ago.
In like 2018.
Yeah. That's a handful of years ago now.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I guess it is.
Well, because I love things forever.
Yeah.
So I kind of like revisit them in cycles. I have like my phases of getting like kind of refixated on them. And, you know, I loved Tenchi so much as a kid. So obviously when Hazel and I first moved in, I was like, I really want you to watch the show that I loved as a kid. And I guess just enough time had passed that I was like, I want to watch it again. I feel like that anime is like really good. And
oh, you started watching War on Geminar. Wasn't that what started it? You were looking for something. Part of it. Yeah.
I was just like, I'm so curious what the fuck like modern Tenchi feels like now. And I started watching War on Geminar. I actually watched several episodes and thought it was quite funny.
Yeah. I think I kind of made it up to be this like big horrible mess in the video a little bit.
Okay, so like I don't remember any specifics that I can really concretely explain, but something I was surprisingly charmed by with War on Geminar was I felt like the girls all had very... How do I put it? Like, they had well-established personalities, and they kind of, like, played out in ways I found satisfying, is the best I can say.
Yeah.
I had to get a few episodes deep before I started feeling that way, because up until that point, I was like, haha, this is dumb trash. But in that regard, I was like, you know, this is a pretty good spiritual continuation of the Tenchi, like, vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
But watching it did just make me want to watch Tenchi Universe again, because Tenchi Universe looks and feels way better and has Ryoko in it. So
yeah,
I was like, Hazel, watch Tenchi Universe with me.
And I loved it even more that time.
Me too. Bat Flashes says, Tenchi Universe hit me at a particularly formative age, and I was reading a lot of fan fiction at the time. Oh, hell yeah. The strangest one I can remember is the Tenchi Universe Simpsons crossover fic.
That's so great.
Did you ever get into any fanfics for 90s anime? And if so, what's the weirdest one you remember?
So I do sometimes try to scope out the fanfic landscape when I'm working on a video just out of sheer curiosity. Because I think it is a really good way to gauge what certain demographics think of a piece of media.
For some reason, it never occurred to me as a kid to read Tenchi fanfiction, but I read hell of Hamtaro fanfiction.
Yeah. I don't, like, I usually just kind of skim titles and see how far back it can go. And just kind of get it from there. But it's great that somebody wrote a Tenchi Simpsons crossover fic. I wonder if they were inspired by Nobuyuki sounding like Homer.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I wrote a fanfic for Hamtaro before I even knew that other people wrote that kind of thing. And I printed it so that I could draw little pictures in the margins and have it be, like, illustrated.
That's so cute.
And I stapled it together, and that was my Hamtaro book that I made for myself.
I did that with stories that I wrote, like, purely original ones.
Yeah.
And then I did, like, shitty little, like, 8-year-old comics based on anime that I liked.
I know I really wanted to make a Tenchi comic because I read a couple issues of the manga that got printed as American comics.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how far I got. I think I probably just did the thing where I stapled a book together and I made a cover, and then that was as far as I got. Classic me. Seth Peacock asks, Tenchi Universe is definitely going on my to-watch list in earnest, but what piece of Tenchi media do you think is most suited to ridicule with a group? I wouldn't know. I haven't watched any of the stuff that I don't like.
I feel like a lot of the Tenchi
in.
stuff that's bad is probably bad in the sense that it's boring.
Yeah.
Like, GXP seems boring to me.
I haven't seen any of it, though, so I can't say.
Yeah. I definitely think Daughter of Darkness is your go-to just because it's so fucking ridiculous.
Huge crackhead energy in that movie.
Straight up. It is one of the most manic pieces of art I've ever stumbled across. And I think that like, Alyssa and I were like, are we going to get in trouble with our neighbors for yelling this loud at this late over it? Yeah,
if you got to watch one with friends to laugh about, Daughter of Darkness is the one. Penny Vath says, I won't be able to watch the show because I'm epileptic, but I felt so proud when I instantly recognized Sasami's English voice as Momo from Xenosaga. Similar vibes of kid characters that get left out of the main action a lot. Makes me feel seen to have another photosensitive fan of old anime. Solidarity. Do other movies, the original show, etc., also have flashing lights? Ooh, I know the first movie does for sure, which is a shame. Like, I know the fight scene has some flashing scenes.
And it sucks. Like, I should specify, I don't have photosensitive epilepsy, but my eyes are very sensitive to light.
Yeah. I mean, you usually close your eyes during...
Yeah, I literally have to cover them when it gets really bad. It takes my eyes kind of a long time to adjust to light.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I wish more people would do, like, flash reduction releases.
I know,
of
yeah.
Anime, especially old anime.
I always take the extra time to cut flashes out of footage for stuff, though. And it's painstaking, but it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it fucking sucks for me to edit.
Yeah. I mean, I had a little sibling who had seizures growing up. Not necessarily epilepsy, but I was always scared of, like, him seeing flashing lights.
Just because you don't even know what that's going to cause.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not risking it.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of Tenchi does, but I think if any of them are clear, I feel like the third movie is...
The third movie's probably okay.
Like, the thing is, a lot of anime has, like, frames of a really bright light, which are painful for me, but not, like dangerous.
Yeah.
But strobing stuff, again, not dangerous for me, is, like, I know where the problem comes in. And I don't think there are any strobing lights.
Well, the third movie is very grounded in reality, so I don't think there's any crazy sci-fi fight scenes with flashes.
Yeah. I know that I've gotten into the habit of watching stuff in kind of a small window if I suspect that there's going to be a lot of that going on. Like, I had to do that for Vampire Hunter D when I watched that for the OVA video.
Yeah, someone who has more time than us, go through all of Tenchi and make like timestamps for flashing lights so that this person can enjoy Tenchi.
I just like I'm shocked that there's not like a VLC extension or something that like frame blends stuff.
Yeah, there should be. Any chance in the future? Oh, Doozy Uzi says, any chance in the future you'll do a Lucky Star video?
I did one and it was bad.
Yeah.
But I've kind of been thinking about reworking it.
You should.
I feel like I have a lot to say about Lucky Star. I think it's a really interesting show. But I think when I do that, I want to do it when I've finished reading some of the books that I'm working my way through. I'm currently reading Patrick W. Galbraith's The Moe Manifesto, which is a collection of interviews with a lot of different important figures in anime and games and manga and merchandising. And what is really fascinating to me as I'm reading it is that every single person that he's interviewed has defined moe very, very differently.
Yeah.
And I think that has really solidified to me that I don't know enough yet.
Yeah. I mean, in my eyes, moe is almost like kawaii. Like, it is such a broad thing to categorize. Like, if it makes you feel moe, it is moe, almost. So, like, because it can be so many different things, be made in so many different ways, be made for so many different reasons, it's harder to concretely define it as one particular thing.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of opinions about moe.
Yeah. My opinions on it are so complex that it killed the video.
Yeah.
I wound up rewriting a section where I kind of talk about the ways in which moe is complicated about 8 different times, and the one that I stuck with, I was just still not happy with.
Yeah.
I felt like I really had to come to terms with the fact that I just wasn't ready to say anything about it, because even if I'm not trying to say anything authoritative, it's always going to sound authoritative in a video essay format.
Making videos.
So, it is something I would like to come back to, but I don't think I can talk about Lucky Star without talking about it through the lens of
moe
and all that.
Professor Hoyden says, while your discussion of what makes the Tenchi dub good is great, I'm curious what you think is the worst dub, purely on the way it's acted, though, not looking at, say, how silly a lot of the localization dubs try to do is, because that's not really the actor's fault. Purely on failure to deliver whatever kind of translation they want.
School Live.
I don't know it.
It's from a couple years ago, and by that I mean it's probably from 2013. I watched it for an incredibly specific research purpose for a video that will probably come out this year at some point. I watched that entire anime in one sitting while playing Monkey Ball Banana Mania.
Yeah.
That anime is hot fucking dog shit, and the dub is even worse. So the main character has a dog. Whose name is Taromaru.
Oh boy.
They say Taromaru. Taromaru. They get it so wrong. And yeah, that anime is not good. That's one of those anime that makes me feel like a fucking crazy person, where I watch it and I'm like, wow, what is likable about this? And then I go online and I see a bunch of 4-star, 5-star, 10 out of 10s.
Dude, that's so crazy. And then I'll see shit that like I genuinely really love, and I'll have like 2.5 stars, and I'll be like, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, people don't like the third Tenchi movie because it's so different.
Dude, I thought it was fucking amazing.
Yeah. So, not to shit on School Live. I know a lot of people love it. That is the dub that comes to mind. I think in general, I hate sounding like a little fucking hipster about it, but I kind of just think older dubs have something that newer dubs don't. Like, I think or maybe not quite so much now, but there was a point of uncanny valley in dubs in like the 2010s, and I think hopefully we're getting out of that now.
I wouldn't know, because
we just got worse. Where dubs got much worse.
Yeah.
With a few exceptions.
Well, I think it's like, I could go on forever because I have voice acting opinions.
Yeah.
But anyway, Elias Rosner says, you mentioned having just missed the Tenchi on Toonami era. Which shows do you remember most, and are there any that, like Alyssa mentioned on Tenchi, sit in the haze of the past. Zatch Bell and Yu Yu Hakusho were like that for me. I watched a couple episodes of both of those, actually.
I watched a lot of Zatch Bell. I fucking loved that show growing up. And then I haven't really touched it since.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I bought like a few what I would do, this is funny, I just remembered this. When I was first collecting manga, I would buy volumes that filled out parts of the anime story that I missed because they weren't really, I don't think they really released Zatch Bell DVDs, or if they could, I couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
So for arcs that I missed, like I didn't start watching that anime until maybe like the first 10 or so episodes in. So I didn't know how the characters met. I didn't like the only stuff about that chunk of time that I knew was from flashbacks. So I had like volume 1 and volume 3 and like volume 7 of Zatch Bell because I was like, I need these to fill in the gaps.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I have always bought manga chronologically and then got burnt out on how much money it was costing me to buy manga, and then stopped like a few volumes in, and that continues to be the case in adulthood.
Yeah, that's why I don't buy serialized manga anymore. The only serialized stuff that I'm buying is School Zone and Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
And even that, I'm like, oh, thank God that's almost over.
Yeah. I think I just so happened to pronounce Rosner correctly.
Yeah, I was going to correct you if you didn't, because I read ahead.
One Trevino says, I wish I had more access to Toonami growing up. I feel like the anime injection at a young age would have definitely been healthy. Toonami aired pretty closely to Adult Swim, right? What are the weirdest commercials you remember from your youth?
That's really good. That's a really good question. One time as a very small child, I was watching... this is not anime related, but I was watching Tom and Jerry with my dad, and I think we both fell asleep briefly, and then I woke up and Home Movies was on, and it's the scene where I think it's in like the first episode where Coach McGurk is like, look at this tattoo, Brendan. You don't want a tattoo like this. Don't live like me. And that stood out in my brain as a like, I'm not supposed to be seeing this, but I can't reach the remote. I don't know what to do. I'm a child.
I don't remember. I mean,
yeah, commercials don't really stand out. Like, the commercials that stand out in my memory are the ones that I saw fucking constantly.
Well, I don't think about commercials anymore, obviously. But if you, like, I've been watching Vinny watch old commercial compilations, and I feel like the cadence of every single one of these commercials is burned into my, like, long-term memory.
Yeah. I mean, I love the, I forget what the brand is. Pat Mac did a video on them. The like Nintendo
the like
commercials
costume character
that had
commercials.
all the
yeah, those are great.
Yeah, those are good.
Charismatic, a Trapped Rabbit says, could you talk about why you liked Ocean Waves and Only Yesterday? I think they're both beautiful in a different way from most Ghibli movies.
Ocean Waves is one of the movies that I've struggled to figure out how I feel about it the most.
I haven't seen it
I don't know if I like that movie. I don't know if I dislike it. I don't know how strong a reaction I have to it. And that complication has never waned in the entire time since I saw that movie in like 2016, 2017. And that alone is such a unique response that it's elicited from me that I consider it one of my favorite anime movies.
Yeah. Like, sometimes you just love something that makes you feel complicated. Because you get to think about it more.
Yeah. And I don't even know that it necessarily was trying to evoke something very complicated. I think it tells a very simple story, but I don't really know. I didn't, at the time anyway, know what it was trying to say with that, or like whose perspective you're supposed to most align yourself with. Only Yesterday, I just think, is an incredibly beautiful movie.
Only Yesterday is great. It's almost like, how do I put it? I mean, I don't know. Only Yesterday makes me sad in the way that anything with like a particular amount of child pathos has. That sort of like helplessness you feel when you're young because you don't know how to convey your feelings or explain yourself to other people is like really captured. in only yesterday.
Yeah, I think that movie does a really good job at capturing all of the ways in which a bad childhood can be very quiet and very boring. And I think it's really special for that.
That sort of like nostalgia you feel for childhood, but almost in kind of a painful way.
Yeah.
I feel like is portrayed really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
PokeKalai37 says, have you ever advertised your videos anywhere, at least prior to blowing up, or do you just make what you make and see what happens next?
I mean, I had like a little bit of a Twitter following before I blew up. I think I had like 1,000 followers that I had accumulated from music and stuff.
So I have a confession. I actually advertised one of your videos for you on Reddit. I won't say which one because I think it's one you've deleted since, but you'd put it out and you'd worked really hard on it, and obviously this was long before you blew up, so it wasn't getting that much attention. I posted it to a relevant subreddit and I was like, this video I found is really good. Check it out. I pretended like I didn't know you, and people were like, oh yeah, this is really good.
That's really funny. Like, I didn't know that.
I deleted the post after you blew up, obviously, but
that's really funny. Well, thank you for doing that. Yeah. No, I think my shit traveled exclusively through word of mouth right up until I started to blow up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think I was really lucky to accidentally get a handful of eyes on my stuff that people who were a good bit more popular than me, who had who just like gave enough of a shit to share that with other people.
Yeah, that really helps a lot.
I really have to shout out the Let's Fight a Boss crew, Super Eye Patch Wolf's podcast, him and his two friends. I think that they did a lot of legwork getting my stuff out to people, and then obviously John would go on to shout out my Elfin Lead video in one of his videos.
That's nice.
Thor obviously as well. Like I find that it is a lot more productive to share your stuff with people that have already gotten to know you a little bit. There were a few times way like years and years ago where I would try to post stuff like from like stuff that hasn't been public in like 5 years. I would share stuff on like Reddit and all that, and the response would always be extremely tepid.
Yeah.
Because people are not like super interested in taking that risk. But if they know who you are, they're more likely to.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure where things are at these days, but I definitely found like I accrued not like the most useful thing that I gained from sharing my stuff in different Discords was a group of friends who were mutually supportive rather than like
the best kind of networking is being a true homie.
Yeah, seriously.
And genuinely being like putting a vested interest in what your homies are doing, what your peers of your level are doing, and supporting them wholeheartedly, even if they succeed long before you do.
Yeah.
And because I get this question sometimes when it comes to like animation or art, whatever. Like when people hear networking, they think ladder climbing, they think going to events and schmoozing, and it's like all of the schmoozing I ever tried to do in and after college like never got me anything.
No, it doesn't work.
What worked was genuinely caring about my friends who I made, and genuinely caring about what they do, and genuinely wanting to see them succeed,
and not feeling obligated to like latch on to people who they think are prospective blower uppers.
No,
you know?
Yeah, don't do that. Just be genuine, and your friends will genuinely care about your success.
Yeah.
And you give each other a hand up. And
I can tell you right now that I am only where I am because I had people giving a shit about me. And I feel like in that regard, like I genuinely feel like most creators owe like a degree of debt to pay that forward a little bit. And I think that if they are only interacting with other YouTubers that are on their level, that kind of strikes me as a little shallow at times.
Yeah. Just remember who helped you out when you were nobody, and try to do the same for other people who you are genuinely excited about.
Yeah.
And your excitement will come across to your audience. And
if you like my channel, you should look at the channels that I recommend on my channel page.
Yeah, absolutely. Grimm's Child says, your video mentions that you originally watched the series out of curiosity and having something on in the background. Do you think you'll ever find yourself in short supply of potential anime series or films to watch, or will you be occupied with the medium for a long time to come? Also, as an aside, you mentioned Lum the Forever, describing one of the movies, and I'd love to hear your opinion on that, given the reception it has compared to Beautiful Dreamer.
Oh, I fucking love Lum the Forever. It's a mess.
It's weird.
It's super out there. Like, all of the Urusei Yatsura movies up to that point were pretty, like, out there and experimental and penisy, but I think that one is, like, it like, borders on being avant-garde.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
I'm always gonna root a little bit for anything that becomes the whipping boy of a fandom.
Yeah.
Like, if someone is like, oh, everyone hates that one, there's a chance I'm going to enjoy it. Because if it elicits that much hatred from the fan base, there's something it does there that's different.
I mean, look at End of Eva.
Yeah.
People fucking hated the way the anime ended.
Yeah.
And then they hated the way the film ended. And those are two of the greatest endings in art history, period.
I don't think Hazel will ever be in short supply for things to talk about.
Yeah.
There's so many things to consume in the world.
Yeah, every time I think I run out, I stumble across something else that I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I just gotta know. Like, there's gotta be a story there. Like, I have too many ideas for videos right now.
Mm-hmm. Adam Saunders says, great videos. Always wanted to ask if you managed to find any fun or are there out there Tenchi merch or collectibles in your search. Never watched the series growing up. I don't think it aired anywhere here in Kanukistan. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard that country name before. So my only exposure was
I think that might be a play on Canada.
Wait, is it? I'm gonna feel like a dumbass if that's what
I want to say it's like, because you know how Canadians are called Canucks. Yeah, slang for Canada.
I'm fucking dumb. Okay. I got pwned by the Canadian. So my only exposure was from a random plush of Ryoki that a friend had and some bootleg keychains from a local nerd shop made by the owner. That's adorable.
That's really cute.
There's a lot of interesting Tenchi merch. But none quite so iconic as the Urusei Yatsura Lum bendable figure.
I don't know that one.
There's one. She's got like the bendy arms, so they're like...
She's like a Betty Spaghetti?
Yeah. She's funny. I see her on eBay every now and then.
Is it a plush?
No, it's a figure.
Right.
And it's like made out of that flexible material, you know? So like the paint is always like really faded. I want one so bad, but they're so like old and rare and like crusty that there's no way one will ever be.
You should restore one.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, there was that insane Ryo-Oki key coin purse.
Yeah.
That looked like a scary eye.
Oh yeah. Can you show that one?
If I still have it. Good. Yeah. Or maybe I'll show it. Yeah, because we still need to go over the character book. We can do it when we get back.
Hungry.
I'm also hungry. We gotta go shopping right after this.
Some features says, absolutely loved all the editing in this video. Some particularly choice B-roll throughout.
Thank you.
Since you used footage from it here, I figured this is the most relevant time to ask, do you have any Porco Rosso takes? After rewatching all of them this year, it's definitely in the top 3 Miyazaki's for me, but I very rarely hear it mentioned or discussed.
I actually haven't seen it.
It's very enjoyable.
Spencer really likes it.
It's fun to watch. However, I completely get why Ano and crew are like, that movie cringes me so bad because it's so clearly Miya's
it's so
like
fucking
self-insert
funny
film.
How everyone who's ever worked with Miyazaki is like, oh yeah, Miya-san just wrote himself into that.
Yeah, he wishes he was a cool pig plane fighter, playing
with
fire with hot young girls fawning over him. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that being kind of a detractor from the enjoyability of that movie, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of all I have to say about it.
Yeah, same here.
It's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
Peter.
I always have to. I've pronounced it every way there is.
Kicholo.
Whoa, that's a new one.
With.
Cool.
Congrats, Peter. I'm giving you a new name. Add it to the collection. Do you have any sense of why exactly the Tenchi continuity is so convoluted and both figuratively and apparently literally incestuous? I mean, it's just...
so I actually thought about this a lot when I first saw this question. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's basically like when you have a story that you really care about, that you've already entered into being a world, a universe unto itself,
Tenchi universe, so to speak.
It tends to kind of blossom out in all of these really weird ways. And you have a principal cast that you don't really want to iterate on that much, that you really care about. It's really easy to think about where their backstories line up. And I think that a lot of writers, you see this everywhere. Like most pieces of long-running AAA media find an obligation to connect things into itself from past to present events.
Because it becomes more meaningful.
Exactly.
Like, oh, this is just some character and they know Ayaka. It's like, this is Ayaka's daughter from another universe where Tenchi has daughters with Ryoko and Ayaka and Mihoshi.
And I think when you filter in the fact that these characters are a part of a monarchy to begin with, it becomes exponentially easier to write them all to be so like intertwined with one another that everything carries a degree of inherent meaning, even if it also means that they're all sharing a lot of the same blood.
That's just any kind of monarchical story.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Monarchy
is inherently a little bit incestuous.
And so that's me saying like it's less so like I that is my most like honest, like good faith take that I can approach that from. I also think that Masaki Kajishima is just kind of a weird dude. He was one of those people who was like, well, women don't act like Mihoshi or Ryoko. Women are polite and nice.
Okay.
I couldn't fit that in, but he definitely strikes me a little bit as one of those guys who kind of has squandered the potential of his own source material a little bit, despite caring that much about it, which is a little bit sad.
I'm sure a lot of the convolution of the lore is just so many different cooks in the kitchen too, like different producers and directors and writers and manga artists and whatever. Jeffrey Potus says, will you continue to make reference to Butt Attack Punisher Girl Gautaman? And how frequently can I expect to be ashamed for not watching it every single time?
Oh, don't feel ashamed.
Every video.
It's not good.
You should always feel ashamed.
It's great, though.
I
love it. We've already referenced it once in this video. And this isn't even a main line. I think I referenced it in this video I'm working on, too. We'll see. I don't remember. It's very long.
And you should feel ashamed every time.
That I reference it?
Yeah.
Absolutely
No, not you, the person.
Oh, no.
The question asker. Feel ashamed. Dan Della Rosa says, do you have any stories about odd first animes that your friends had? When I started college, I had a conversation about Toonami with my freshman year roommate and another guy on our floor. They both said Tenchi Muyo was their introduction to anime. I thought it was ironic that they enjoyed a harem anime when they had conservative views on sexuality. On a related note, my roommate tried out Naruto and was turned off by the sexy jutsu and proceeded to watch Bleach instead. I guess they were more interested in the parts of Tenchi Muyo that reminded them of Star Wars.
That's interesting.
That adds up.
I feel like I've known a lot of people who have accidentally had like a bad first anime where they kind of think that that's the extent of it, but I'm blanking on them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm hard-pressed to think of friends who aren't, like, at least a little bit into anime.
Well, I think a lot about how, like...
aren't just don't watch anime, you know?
A friend of Thor's in like, the 2010s got him to watch a handful of anime, and it's the most scattershot list. Like, he's seen the weirdest anime. Like, he's seen the first season of Black Butler.
Oh my god!
He's seen Arakawa Under the Bridge.
Okay.
And like a few other slapdash ones that make no sense outside of being from that general time period.
That is a strange smattering. I mean, Arakawa's good. I can see that being
Arakawa's great, but I've never heard anybody other than you, me, and Thor talk about it.
Yeah.
Arakawa's good. I should do a video
good
on that anime sometime.
It's charming.
It's got a great theme song.
It does. Beatman says, another question. You said about Gravity Rush almost feeling like a Western thing inspired by anime. Are there any Japanese anime games that also give that vibe for you? I can see No More Heroes being this. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody shits on it, but Lollipop Chainsaw, which Suda produced and didn't direct, is definitely one of those. Going so far as to have Jimmy Urin voice the character.
It's fun. It's a fun game.
I genuinely think that, like, everybody who's, like, deep up into Suda that I know, like, fucking reacts with, like,
shock and disgust
anytime it's brought up. And I get that was a really bad time for Suda creatively, where he was just getting forced to make wacky Japan games. But I think Lollipop Chainsaw is really cute and a lot of fun. I also... I feel like there are some other good ones. Well, like, this is actually, I think, the subject of a video that I'm going to work on is that whole concept of Akagare no Paris, which is like kind of the sort of romanticism that Japan had for France and like the sort of like European countryside in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And kind of digging into why that is and how kind of like picturesque Miyazaki's work from that era is. That's part of the reason I started watching Nadia as well. It's another kind of example of that.
Okay, here's a good one, but in reverse. Moomin feels like a Japanese property to me.
I know, it's crazy.
I always have to remind myself that it's not Japanese because Japan loves Moomin so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would Moomin count as like a reverse Akogare no Paris?
I kind of think maybe
like Japan's wistfulness for it.
Like they wound up really latching onto Moomin for those elements. That's a good point. I should look into that.
Yeah. I mean, they made a Moomin anime in Japan.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's like all of the 70s productions of all of the like classical European children's literature, like Heidi of the Alps and stuff like that. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I want to dig into before I do that video.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
The trans experience of not knowing your name but knowing who you are says, what are some cute anime to watch with a significant other who's not necessarily into anime? The first season of Black Butler, Arakawa Under the Bridge. No, don't.
I honestly think Toradora.
Toradora is pretty accessible for the most part.
Like when I think of, like, I think I that strikes me as the kind of thing that like is not quite so anime that it would cause much friction. Because I think there's still a lot of people who go, anime, isn't that like a bunch of pervert stuff?
There's still some pervert stuff in Toradora.
But... Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I think the concentration of it is fairly minimal when compared to other stuff.
Toradora's funny.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's got a cute ending.
Yeah. I think that Toradora is like just like a really good version of what it is.
Yeah.
And a really accessible version.
Toradora is really interesting too because it came out in a time where that archetype of character, like the main girl Taiga, was fucking everywhere. Like all voiced by the same voice actress too. Like Zero no Tsukaima, there was another one that was also based, it was like 3 or 4 different series, all based on light novels, all with a tiny mean tsundere main girl, all voiced by, I don't remember her name.
Is it Rie Tanaka? Or is that someone else?
Rie Tanaka's got a deep voice.
Okay. I can't remember her name.
I want to say it's like Kobayashi something.
I'm going to look it up. I want to say it's Rie something. Rie Kugimiya. Yeah.
That's it.
I got close.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You got closer than I did. Yeah, all voiced by Rie Kugimiya. I think even some of them were like, I mean, all the art styles look similar. But yeah, so like I was kind of consuming all of them concurrently, and Toradora kind of rose to the top as like, this is the one Rie Kugimiya tsundere girl coming out right now who I actually care about. Yeah. What are some other cute anime to watch with a significant other?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of obvious, but the Ghiblis are all very safe. One. But those, like I said in the video, they're not very representative of anime. So I feel like it's almost kind of a weird choice.
Oh, you know, this answers this question and also a little bit the other one. I feel like certain versions of Lupin can almost feel like European comic-y. Yeah. And I mean, obviously that's somewhat intentional with all the characters being very international, but there's something about it that almost reminds me a little bit of something like Tintin or whatever, where I'm like, yeah, I could see this being like a Western comic from like... So
if you have a significant other that's like into weird European stuff or like into like, oh gosh, what's his name? The guy who made Little Nemo. Like that kind of stuff.
Lupin's fun too because the characters are so easily understood. You can kind of jump in anywhere. Like, I mean, if you want to start with Miyazaki, you could start with
Also, Lupin's got a lot of really great dubs.
Yeah, Lupin does have a lot of really good dubbing.
Yeah.
Like across the board. I'm not like as buffed up on Lupin as I should be, but every time I dip my toes into it, I'm like, this is very easy to get into and very enjoyable. So that was kind of fun. Watch Hamtaro with your significant other.
Azumanga Daioh.
Azumanga Daioh, maybe. It might be a little harder to understand if you're not into anime.
I think the thing about Azumanga Daioh is that it's a little bit like Homestar Runner, where it's okay if you don't get what they're referencing, because I think the kind of tone of it is what's most alluring to like anime first timers. Hopefully that allusion to Homestar Runner is self-evident.
Silent James says, any plans for your band to cover the Tenchi Universe theme? Also, thank you so much for your Tenchi video. I'm reminded of young me watching it when it first came out.
That would be cute. No, I have a much trashier anime that I want to cover the theme song from at some point.
Boytology says, you brought up that you're a synth nerd. Any recommendations for synth vlogs or reviews?
I don't really watch much synth, like YouTube or anything like that, because I get mad when people spend lots of money on things.
Yeah, my least favorite corner of YouTube is I spent money on things.
Yeah, like
watch it and get FOMO that I spent the money on it.
Every like extremely hobbyist channel that involves technology of some kind always does a video that's like, can you believe I spent $10,000 on this mechanical keyboard? It's like, yeah, I can actually. I really think that what did it for me was just kind of looking into what kind of hardware was used in classic games and albums and songs that I really liked, and then going and looking up VSTs for them and then pirating them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent like all of the last couple days looking through a bunch of 90s sample packs.
Sorry, I'm shedding hair.
You're fine. And that was a lot of fun, and I found a lot of stuff that I recognized. I found like the what's the Japanese flute, chaku something. There's a sample that appears in Killing Moon from Third Strike that I found that sample. I found one of the sounds that was used in Tetris Attack. Just kind of digging. I kind of think that in general I recommend just going for the hands-on kind of slapdash approach, just kind of poking around and figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
I have never been able to get into like guitar videos either, because the genre of blues licks that they play to demo a guitar is garbage. I was really relieved when I bought my Fender Tornado. What sold me on it was the fact that like the one demo for that guitar on YouTube was just somebody playing like very like classic emo-y riffs that were really really cute and charming, and I was like, wow, it works for that. I'm in an emo band right now. And then we broke up after releasing a single song.
Nice.
So that's that on that.
Mercedes S says, thanks as always for a great piece. A lot of your video work focuses both on anime manga content and on the mostly but not exclusively Western subcultural response to it. And for older stuff with fewer avenues to experience it, conversation used to circle around fewer properties. With the internet fragmenting the subculture into many connected but distinct subcultures, what do you think makes an anime or manga able to catch with the larger culture out here? I
think something like My Hero Academia was really beneficial by like being like coming out at a time where Western superheroes were already a big thing in America.
God, Americans fucking love superheroes. I'm tired. I'm tired of superheroes.
So I think like that's one way where it's something that is already wearing a lot of American modern pop culture on its sleeve. But then you have something like I'm really dating myself because these are like old examples now. Like when JoJo's got really popular when I was graduating high school.
You want to drink some water?
Yeah, thank you. It was something that like I still don't know quite how it managed to hit on the audience that I did, other than I think it's just like a guys being dudes kind of thing. I think that was appealing to guys who be dudes.
I would say that JoJo's is almost superhero adjacent in a lot of its sensibilities, and in a lot of its like how things play out. I say that as someone who's never watched JoJo.
I think that JoJo also kind of hits on that sort of thing that we talked about in the Tenchi video, where when your first exposure to something is like a very extreme version of it, the sort of alienatingness of it being so foreign, so out there in its own world, is kind of alluring in and of itself. Like it kind of makes you want to understand it and wrap your head around it.
Yeah, it's part why I still haven't seen Cowboy Bebop, even though I'm sure it's great, because I feel like what made Cowboy Bebop so like beloved by a Western audience is partly its accessibility.
Yeah.
And that it kind of already feels like Western in its setting and its tone and its characters. Like, as a young weeb, I was not interested in that. I was like, I'm interested in foreign countries and stuff that feels like it is from foreign countries.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see stuff about foreign countries, not just like foreign countries' approximations of Western countries.
I do love that though.
Yeah.
Especially like the more wrong they get it, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more interesting to me now in just like a broad sense, but when I was young, I was like, I want Japanese cartoons about Japan. I don't care about the other stuff.
Yeah. I also think it's really interesting how, like, I think there are certain cultural trends that birth certain fixations on certain kinds of media in Japanese culture that wind up kind of belatedly hooking an audience in the West because they kind of go through those same cultural happenings later. Like you see the rise of apocalypse fiction when the Om Shinrikyo sarin gas attacks happened. And then in America, you saw a rise in apocalypse and like natural disaster movies after 9/11 in America. And then, you know, I think the trend toward isekai in Japanese media has been a lot of like sheer desperation to escape that I think has only gotten more and more desirable as people have started to imagine what life would be like if you didn't have to live in a soul-crushing society. And then now I think we're starting to see a lot more death game fiction come out of Japan, and then now land with and obviously not just Japan, like Squid Game is huge. And see that start to really land with American audiences because we've finally understood that life is one big death game. And so I think that a lot of times what lands with American audiences that are cultural exports can be shared reflections of similar societal anxieties.
Yeah.
So I think that can be it for sure. And I would be fucking shocked if we don't see a tremendous uptick in death game media come out of what a big success Squid Game is. And we'll see a lot of people say that it was things trying to ride on its coattails, but I genuinely think that it is a cultural anxiety that's reaching a fever pitch.
Yeah.
And that's why we're seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
Alyssa, this is a question for you. Jesse M asks, did you have any Tenchi OCs when you were getting into it as a teen? Or any other early teen anime like your OCs that you look on fondly?
I have to really think about this. Yeah, Tenchi is an interesting one because I adored it and I consumed it fervently, but I didn't write fan fiction in the traditional sense. I certainly like played imagination with Tenchi and like imagined scenarios for those characters to be in, but nothing that I would so concretely call fan fiction. Did I make Tenchi fan characters? I don't think I did, but I certainly wrote and made things directly inspired from Tenchi. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I wrote like little comic books about pseudo-Japanese characters with big interesting hair, like going on crazy adventures.
Yeah.
Directly inspired because of Tenchi, especially because I was young enough that Tenchi was a totally brand new thing to me, so I didn't realize how derivative my work was going to seem. When I was young, and I really wanted toys of something that didn't exist, I would make paper dolls, and I have like a huge box back in my parents' place just filled with paper dolls that my sister and I made. So I guarantee I probably either made or printed like paper dolls of Tenchi characters at some point. And a lot of my like fan characters, I think I saw less as fan characters and more as like brand new playing pieces. So I had a lot of Sonic fan characters that I made just for the purpose of making a paper doll and kind of adding them to my toy collection, so to speak. So it's very possible I had fan characters, but not in the sense that I would have thought of them as fan characters so much as I would have thought of them as other toys, so to speak, that I then played with my collection. Kind of a weird abstract answer to that question. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think I had any fan characters for Tenchi specifically. But I'm sure I made plenty of my own, like, little Ryoko ripoffs. Hazel left me alone here, so now I'm talking alone to myself. Hi, how are you guys?
I think growing up I had a really vivid a really rigid understanding of canon. And so I think it didn't really cause me to even think about things like having OCs or fan characters as being a thing.
Yeah, I think I kind of felt that way about Tenchi. Like, there's no room here for me to insert myself into this.
Yeah.
But Sonic's kind of the perfect playing ground for children to dream of inserting themselves. So I had lots of Sonic fan characters. TK says, hello to one of my favorite power couples. I hope this finds you both well. Hazel, you always talk in great depth and with obvious passion about music. If it would not add too deeply to your workload or process, would you consider setting up corresponding Spotify's playlists for your videos for mentioned music or as a Sonic mood board?
That's a really good idea, but my Spotify is like tied to my Facebook.
Yeah.
So I think if I did something like that, I would dox myself accidentally.
I think I also use your Spotify.
Yeah, we
share an account.
We have like a joint account thing where we have our own separate accounts.
Oh, right.
But I do like that idea. I've thought about doing YouTube playlists because those are really easy, and a lot of the stuff that I listen to while I work isn't on Spotify.
That's true.
Like I included the otaku music playlist in my OVA video because I was listening to that shit nonstop while I was working on that script. Doing that kind of thing would be fun, but a lot of times what I listen to while I work on a video is really like barely related. I was listening to Number Girl's discography the entire time I was writing the Sonic Adventure video, and there's not really any connective tissue there.
Yeah, sometimes I am working and I listen to one completely stupid random ass song over and over. So, random content suggestion: the long defunct sitcom Just Shoot Me has Ida the Owl Lady voice actor as a regular actor on the show, and having watched reruns of the sitcom in close proximity to Tenchi on Toonami in the 2000s, I already pegged the similarity between Cawthorn and the Space Pirate. It's very out of date humor, but maybe check out Just Shoot Me. Oh, and Alyssa, thanks for sharing your candid flashbacks. It was wholesome and great. I challenge you to redraw the Poison Yoshi with your modern
I was really hoping she would, but
I mean,
you were kind of the mindset that it would feel like a weird attempt at a flex, which I understand.
Yeah.
Ranjan.
Well, and it's also like I still think that original picture is so beautifully drawn. There's no like way for me to iterate on it that would be like interesting enough compared to the original art is so good already. I'm like, why would I deign myself fit to recreate this piece of art?
And Ida's voice actress was also in an episode of Seinfeld. God, I've been fucking out of commission so long that I watched all 9 seasons of Seinfeld and like 4 seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Hazel's been on a strange sitcom bender lately.
I kind of fell off of it though.
Oh yeah?
I want to get back on the horse, but but yeah, she's in a single episode of that show and she's really cute in it.
That's cute.
Her voice is like, that's just her voice.
That's great. That's great. Nagusame says, how are you doing? I'm hungry and
I'm tired and my voice hurts.
I'm hungry. Layla Autumn says, your comments about ham heads is a fun little joke about Hamtaro fans at the beginning of this video. Got me thinking about the loads of cute shows I watch for comfort from time to time. Even despite, or maybe because of their 70s and aughts cheesiness. First that comes to mind for me is Onegai My Melody. Out of curiosity, do you have any cutesy comfort anime you enjoy? I really liked She's Sweet Home for a while.
Yeah. Not quite the same, but I'd really like to get into some of those longer running anime like Shin-chan and Chibi Maruko-chan.
Yeah, Maruko-chan's really good. Cutesy. I know there was a while I was into cutesier, like younger oriented anime, but I'm blanking on what.
I think less so than getting into those anime. I just really like mascot characters.
Oh yeah, I love mascots. I mean, I'm even just kind of fascinated by children's cartoons in general.
Yeah. I bought a book recently that is just a bunch of really high quality scans of advertisements from shoujo manga and like girls magazines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really want to watch like some of the classics like Minky Momo. I feel like kind of remiss that I have not seen them.
I think 2022 is going to be the year I really fill out my watcherhood, and I really get learnt.
Mm-hmm. LL says, the shout out has me curious to what extent were or are you a ham head? It was your video on old fan sites that made me realize what little me was browsing on sites like Ham Kingdom. Yeah! I looked the shit out of Ham Kingdom and led me to rediscover Ham Paradise, which I also looked at.
So that joke was Alyssa's.
Yeah, I wrote that joke.
I mentioned that Alyssa and I co-wrote the script. She wrote Ham Heads somewhere in the video script, and then I wound up having to rework that section.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm desperate to keep this joke because I think it's really funny, and I managed to fit it in there. So I loved Hamtaro, but it was like never on when I could watch it.
Oh, I would wake up at like 6 a.m. to watch it when the show times got fucked up.
Like I didn't know when it was on, so I only saw a few episodes, and I was really excited every single time I got to see it.
I was obsessed. I would record it to VHS and force everyone to watch my little Hamtaro VHSs with me. I like memorized all their birth dates because they have canon birth dates, all the hamsters. I memorized all their Japanese names because I thought that was cool that they had different names in the Japanese version. I got called gay at dance class by a kid for liking Hamtaro, and I was like, dude, you're a boy in dance class. Like, I don't think you should be calling me gay for liking the hamster show.
Turns out he was right, though.
Oh, no, he was right, but,
you were gay.
You know, and maybe he is too now. Who knows?
Who's to say?
Who's to say? If you're the kid who called me gay in dance class for liking Hamtaro, hit me up. I want to know what you're up to these days. Kimono my gyro?
Yeah, that's how I've been saying it. I've said it every which way and I haven't been corrected yet.
Kimono my gyro says, when will you introduce a $20 tier so I can throw more money at
Don't spend $20 a month on me.
Spend $20 on Hazel.
No. Spend $20 a month on my friend Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Coffee Cakes.
Coffee Cakes is also great.
His job is constantly fucking him over. He needs the $20 a month more than I. Like, I literally have started to think, like, when my Patreon hits, like, higher, like, tiers, I think I'm just gonna, like, every new pledge, I'm just going to put that money into a friend's Patreon instead.
Well, let's get your healthcare situation.
Well, no, that's why I haven't done that.
Before you start getting big ideas.
I don't want to think about that.
Yeah. Let's get your taxes paid and see how fucked you are by that.
I know.
Turkey the Human says, is there any piece of art or media that hits so many of your hyper-specific aesthetic tastes that it feels like it was made specifically for you, almost like a gift from another version of yourself? If so, did you find it during or after your formative years, and how do you think that timing affected your relationship with
I think the interesting thing about that is that if I had discovered it in my formative years, it would have been a chicken or the egg thing.
Like, was this tailor-made for me, or did I make myself to this?
Like when I saw Fooly Cooly as a 12-year-old, it really captivated me really endlessly. I was really, really stricken by it, and I think it defined a lot of what I really value in art, even to now. But the thing about it is that I don't think that I knew I wanted those things out of media at the time. I honestly think that their Tenchi movie, I think Tenchi Forever comes really close to being one of those things. Same with all the Urusei Yatsura movies. I watched those movies before I had seen more than an episode or two of the anime. And I felt like, wow, like this is a lot of the things that I love in one place. Jennifer's Body
is definitely one where I'm like,
It's got it
Wow.
all.
But I'm a cheerleader too. Was also
Yeah.
like, ah,
Yeah.
yes, I want this kind of like campy,
Yeah.
like,
We get one of these.
yeah.
It's one of these for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's what comes to mind. What about you?
I'm sure I have something, but I
Yeah.
can't think of more right now. I'm so hungry. Rith says, love the video. The couple videos are really cute and seem fun to make. They are. So what part of the Tenchi multiverse does the SNES game take place in?
Ryoki.
Okay.
But it has 2 original characters that don't appear anywhere else. So
Yes.
briefly, I thought that it was its own continuity. And that's why it was confusing.
My child brain remembers it being pretty good, actually. Barring an answer to that question, did you come across anything particularly wild while investigating the web of Tenchi canon?
So in the video, I make a joke about, I say, don't ask me what trium herbs are. That is something that is so Tenchi deep lore that the fucking wiki has nothing to say about it. I literally only caught that because I was like, wait a minute, trium herbs? They're talking about trium herbs in War on Geminar. That's the same exact kind of berry that you see Ayaka making the crown for her brother husband out of.
Yeah, I completely forgot that. I first picked up on the phrase trium herb when I was watching the first handful of episodes of Gemini, because I was like, oh, they gotta go find this.
I think it might be the first time they added it. They said it by name. I might be wrong though.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the number one for me. That was my moment of like, I think I've invested too much of myself into this, but I can just pick up on that now.
When you know more than the Tenchi wiki, you know you're fucking up.
Yeah.
BF Kalut says, thank you for covering Tenchi. I very much relate to the comments you saw on YouTube where this anime was once an important part of my youth, but the lack of representation of it meant it just kind of disappeared from my memory. I vividly recall being a child and having the biggest crush on Ryoko, something that I believe influenced my younger teenage crush on Haruko from FLCL. You mentioned liking the clothing details in Tenchi, and that got me curious. Are there other anime that stand out to you that put that kind of care into the clothing, where the cast seems to have their own wardrobe and instead of a uniform that is used in all scenarios? I remember an anime in early 2000s, ROD, the TV.
Read or Die.
Yeah. Being praised for this detail in blogs and anime magazines back then. It seems like such a detail, it really makes a difference. Yeah, I mean, Cardcaptor Sakura is kind of also one of those, like,
absolutely.
so much so that they put a spotlight on her outfits after episodes because the staff
they put so much work into
so much.
And I think that really shows, and it really is part of what makes it special.
Yeah.
I really love all of the detail in Cardcaptor Sakura.
Mm-hmm.
I also, gosh, I feel like there are a lot. Honestly, Bleach, it gets squandered so fast because everybody just wears the same outfit before very long. But before that point, like, Tite Kubo gave so much of a shit about drawing his characters in like cool, attractive fashion that aesthetic is what defines the show for a lot of people. When in actuality, it just looks like well, I guess I'm specifically talking about the manga.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me, like, I mean, if I try to think about what they are, I can't picture them because the characters wear the same uniform so often. But Soul Eater has a lot of, like, when those characters wear something other than a uniform.
Yeah.
I'm so charmed by, like, how much of their character you can see in what they choose to wear.
I like Maka's little basketball uniform.
Yeah. I love her.
Yeah, I think that's probably
There's probably
the one that
more.
comes to mind
I'm
right
blanking,
away.
though.
I feel like there was probably a lot in... I mean, I think Call Me Tonight, one of the OVAs that I talked about in my VHS video, comes to mind for sure. And, like, I think it's kind of something you almost see more often in manga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm dying.
we got 3 questions.
Okay. Omen Machine says, you mentioned that Tenchi Muyo is often remembered as a standard harem anime, but is missing many of the usual harem tropes. Are there any other pieces of media you feel unfairly carry the baggage of their genre? Oh, man. Like, definitely yes, but...
I think the key visual novels.
I mean, I think visual novels in general, like, people
Yeah.
have a very narrow idea.
Yeah.
of
like,
what that genre is.
Even I was like, oh yeah, the Key makes trash. Key's like trashy trash. Like it's just a bunch of. But yeah, and then I fucking played. Did
you play Clannad?
I played Clannad, yeah, and I loved what I played of it. I thought that it was great. I think you kind of see similar stuff with like stuff maybe outside of anime in particular, but I think there's a lot of shit. I wish I could remember. I'm gonna have like 3 good answers for this in like an hour and a half.
Well, we're gonna come back and record that other section.
You're right. You're right.
Eat,
you're
so
right.
Think about it while we grocery shop. Andrew Pollard says, have you seen From Up on Poppy Hill? I feel like your unwavering ability to meet art on its own weird terms would make you uniquely equipped to talk about this beautiful bit of incest bait.
I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
I'm so curious about it. I haven't not seen it.
Yeah, I know about the twist. It seems fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I'll have to approach it on its own terms at some point. Because I'm really fascinated by it. It's like one of those movies that's not even polarizing. It's literally just like if you understood that there was gay subtext, accidental or otherwise, you hated it because of what it did at the end.
Yeah. That's such a good way of putting how you engage with media.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
You're good at meeting it on its own weird terms. Boyatology says, hey, I might be late for you to see this, but how long did it take you to learn video editing?
I've been making YouTube videos since 2008.
Yeah, you were making them when you were little.
And I was using Windows Movie Maker for a really long time. And then I begged my grandma to spend $40 to get me like a dinky baby version of Sony Vegas. And then I used that for another big chunk of years. And then in like 2017, 2018, I finally made the switch over to Premiere.
I use Premiere a lot. I even taught classes on Premiere. But I just started using DaVinci Resolve, which is free, and I cannot fucking recommend it enough.
That's great.
Like, it's got a lot of limitations, so, like, if you want the fancy features, you have to buy a pretty expensive paid version, which kind of sucks. But just for basic video editing, like, DaVinci's really good for a free program.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
Premiere is a free program if you live the life of a pirate. Like me.
Ho ho ho.
I will
Piracy is always.
I'm not gonna fucking pay Adobe money. They're getting their money directly from like universities and like studios.
Oh yeah.
They don't need my money.
I mean,
the money means more to me
like,
than it ever could to them.
I wouldn't spend money on Premiere.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It pisses me off.
I love so much of what that program is capable of doing, but I feel like I only am now finding its workflow efficient now that I have this insane fucking gamer mouse. Or it's not a gamer mouse, it's a gamer like number pad. I'll show it in the fucking... I'm working on a video right now. It'll come up in there. I've decided.
Anyway, I'm always an advocate for paying for software that is in competition with Adobe because the more you support... Like, that's why Clip Studio Paint users are like... borderline like evangelical about it. It's like it's not even that CSP is better than Photoshop, to be honest. Like, it's still missing a lot of quality of life features that Photoshop has, but it's a good competitor, and by God,
there's a lot of software that's worth paying for.
And it's not Adobe.
Like stuff from different plugin boutiques or like Aseprite. The pixel art program. Nice. That's just like one dude
constantly for
I think Sprite developing work. It, and that's a great fucking program.
I even prefer Aseprite over using like something like Photoshop
for GIFs especially.
Oh yeah, it's great for that.
Photoshop's like GIF capabilities feel vestigial at this point.
They're annoying.
It's terrible.
They're fucking weird. The fact that there are studios that animate in Photoshop makes me feel insane. I'm like, why would you?
What?
Oh yeah, there are people who like animate with Photoshop only. It makes me feel crazy.
You know, Thor did mention that he was starting to use Photoshop's like keyframing features to make some pretty out there visuals for his most recent video, which I haven't seen yet. I'm a bad friend. I'm behind on like 3 or 4 Thor videos.
Well, because you're supposed to watch them with me. I want to watch them.
Well, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm hungry.
I'm so hungry. That was our last question. Thank you so much. You're going to see in just a second here the B-side of this video. Thank you so much.
Bye.
hello. Here's the other part of the Q&A that I promised. We're gonna look through this little Mihoshi and Q&A character book. Oh my god, that's so rude.
Just kidding. I didn't mean it.
How could you?
I didn't mean it.
Goodness gracious. The violence.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right, let's go through this. I'm very tired.
Yeah, me too.
But we're gonna look through it because we said that we would.
I'm in a food coma.
Yeah, we went grocery shopping. It was really cursed out, and then I got ingredients to make lunch.
Can the camera see us okay? I'm getting a really bad glare from where I'm sitting.
But yeah, it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is official.
Ship name Mihokio.
Yeah, that's, I know, I didn't realize it until afterwards, but in one of the episodes, Washu, like, canonicizes that name for them.
Yeah, she says it kind of the way you do, like a
comedy duo,
like
right?
a comedy duo.
Yeah.
The IMO is just a canon ship name.
Yeah.
How cute Kione is.
I
I
know.
love her.
Here, let's move this a little bit more to the center.
Yeah, I can't tell where anything is. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's weird because this is, like, there are some bits where it's just, like, little manga pages.
Yeah.
And there's some bits where it's just assets from the show. But then there's stuff like this where I think this is an original drawing. I'm sure it was used for something else and doesn't originate from here, but still.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is like a section talking about their voice actors.
It looks like it's dialogue between them.
Oh, interesting. I figured because they had microphones.
Yeah, it's them talking to each other.
Oh.
But I'm too lazy to read it.
Yeah, it's completely fine.
This one's so cute.
I know.
I know it's just a still from the anime, but it's so cute.
Is it from the anime? I don't think so.
Oh, maybe not.
I think this is just a
It
piece of
looks similar,
official
though.
art. I want to know the context.
Adventure game.
Oh, well, wait. That wouldn't be the PC-98
How to
one.
play this game.
Oh, wait. Is this a tabletop rule set?
Maybe. Made by Cell Image. Interesting.
Huh.
Wait. Let me look at this. This looks like more dialogue from them.
Weird.
So, but what's the how to play the game? Virtual system, adventure game. I don't understand. What is it? Mihokio's daily life.
It's really funny how, like, this is the highest quality I've ever seen a cell from Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, by a long shot.
Yeah.
I also think it's really funny how, like, when you look through something like this, it kind of illustrates the degree to which the show, like, came about as close as it gets to, like, Yuri baiting the shit out of these two, but, like, not in any problem. It's not a problem.
This picture as a kid.
Really? That's so cute.
I thought she was so cute here.
She is very cute. But yeah, I feel like they really, like, lean into it without, like, leaning into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, aesthetically, they lean into it without ever, like, feeling obligated to lampshade it. It's very bizarre.
They're both really gay coded and also not.
Yeah.
They're interesting.
All the different jobs they worked.
Yeah, Kione's little, lifeguard fit.
Yeah.
So cute.
Oh, this is stuff strictly from the OVA. Yeah.
There's Washu's little sexy nurse
She was
outfit.
so cute.
Yeah, I love Washu.
That OVA was a little bit of a mess, but I'm also a really big fan of this Mihoshi outfit.
Yeah.
The straps.
The suspenders.
The suspenders being to either side of her tits is really funny.
Yeah.
It's good. Oh, it looks like there's some schmutz on this page. It's giving Kione a little little accidental Hitler mustache.
Uh-oh. Just more about their daily life.
Sometimes I forget that they're police officers.
They're technically detectives,
Or they're
right?
detectives for the Galaxy Police.
So cute.
Yeah.
I like them in the foreground wearing totally different swimsuits. You know, you have beloved OCs when you have multiple swimsuit designs for them.
Yeah, it's funny how much of this is just like really high quality stills from the show.
Yeah.
But then all this like
their
really
arms linked while they karaoke.
I know. But then there's all this like really cute extra design. Like, what is going on here? What is this? Why are you here?
It's showing like a day in the life of Miho Kyo, so it's like
right
in the morning.
Yeah.
They do.
I just more so mean like the design of it in general.
Yeah, it's just like, cute that they have like a little clock to accompany it.
The way it's laid out is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh,
Come
no.
on. Come on. There we go.
You can do it.
Oh,
she's so cute.
Like I said in the video, there's nothing better than a loose-fitting anime tank top.
It's true.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit disappointed at first when I saw that this was predominantly stills from the show.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would be more like original art, but
yeah,
it's cute.
I love them having to struggle to fit Kione into stills from the OVA because she's not in there originally.
Oh, yeah. What is this? It's a whole lot of kanji I can't read.
That's okay.
I think it's this is a play-by-play of episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think all of them are. Maybe like a list of their appearances?
Yeah, it must be.
Accompanied with stills. Shoujo Pretty Sammy.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I knew there was a section about their voice actresses. I just didn't remember where it was.
Cute.
Yeah.
Man, remember bucket hats?
That's not a bucket hat. That's one of those like little like it's like a little French hat.
Oh.
It's like
it seemed diff to me.
They're like all fuzzy.
Fuzzy
so
bucket
cute.
Hat. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think this is art that the voice actress did of Mihoshi.
Really?
Yeah, when I was glancing at this, I think I saw something like that. Maybe not. Maybe this is just the manga artist.
Yeah.
It's cute though, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, because this definitely looks like it's still the same artist.
Yeah.
This down here.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Trying to make sure that we're still in focus here. Yeah, you always kind of take a gamble on this sort of thing because they never ever show much of what goes on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I was working on the Minna Age Chow video, I took a total, like, blind shot in the dark on whether or not that book would have relevant information to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it also did have a lot of photos of the inside of it, which is really uncommon.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the only instances where
it's like a list of
merchandise,
CDs and stuff. I forgot they put out a shit ton of CDs.
Yeah, there's so many. I downloaded like a multiple gigabyte torrent just of music from the show.
I was very stoked that they have sete in here.
What is that again? Just character
like model
sheets? Yeah. I'm really curious. I'm going to bring this back over here a little bit. I'm really curious when this is used. Yeah, I don't remember.
There's a dream sequence where I think it's Sasami is telling like a fairy tale. It's very short, and then everyone's like in a fairy tale setting.
Was that the ghost episode?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember when it is. She's so cute.
Yeah. There are a lot of outfits I don't recognize in here.
These sete are like where it really like shows to me how skillful the animators for the show are at just drawing. Like, these characters all look so good at all angles in every outfit. Like the way this feels is so good.
Yeah.
The way that her pants are like so baggy but like not in a formless way.
Yeah, same goes for her hair.
Yeah. Like, her hair is so designed, but they like, I don't know. It looks great.
Yeah.
The show looks great. Dab? Mihoshi or Kione Dab? Kione Dab real?
Okay. I think we're still in focus. It was worth it.
Look at how cute she is pulling her hair back.
I know. I also like getting to see the designs for the inside of their apartment.
Yeah.
I took an architecture class in middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so young to take an architecture class.
Well, I think it was like, it was kind of weird that they offered it, but I had a really good time with it.
That's nice.
I keep having to remember that this camera's got a 15-minute limit on it, so I'm trying to catch it in case it stops recording so I can start it back up again.
I love this thing. It's like, it's an accessory for her Galaxy Felice shit, but in a lot of shots it just looks like a fuzzy bunny tail.
Well, I think that's what it's supposed to.
No, because it's on her hip.
You're right.
And sometimes you can tell that it's on her hip and not on her butt.
Mm-hmm.
But it just straight up looks like a bunny tail. What is this outfit?
Yeah.
It says
It looks like it's from like a
villain.
different anime. I'm gonna zoom in slightly.
Maybe she plays a villain role in some kind of fucking pretty Sammy AU. Yeah, I see Sammy.
Yeah. Good eye.
I knew it. All these little accessory designs.
Trying to fit this all in frame is so hard.
Look how cute this is.
I know. I'm pretty sure I used a shot of that in particular in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, it's like such an obvious thing that they have to design all of this stuff as well.
Yeah, her shrine for Mihoshi being supposedly dead.
Yeah, like that's in a single like sequence, like a single shot in the entire series. There it goes. Where's the record button? There it is. Okay, we're back. Yeah.
Good commentary. It's just me pointing at pictures and being like, she's so cute.
What more is there to say?
Truly.
And I think we have more
light novel.
interview.
I
Oh.
think this is a story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the brackets and assumed that was like a back and forth, but it makes more sense that it is dialogue.
This is how I feel when I have to drive in LA.
God, I'm so happy you don't have to do that anymore. Not that you did it much to begin with, but still.
Look at this infant baby Tenchi.
It really fucked me up to realize that baby from the OVA wasn't actually a baby Tenchi.
Yeah. I also loved this art of Mihoshi as a kid.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Loved her gigantic eyes.
Yeah. I really love that no other character's eyes are drawn like Mihoshi's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes her really stand out.
Yeah. Oh, it's a postcard.
Oh, cute. Yeah. These things weren't impossible to come by. I would mail one of these out to someone. Wow, it's specifically her
shrine picture.
Yeah.
Her shrine photo.
That's really funny. Yeah, so unfortunately there wasn't quite as much interesting stuff in here as there was in the Mina Agechao book, which is why we got through it a lot faster, but well done, Mihokyo.
Well done, Mihokyo.
But I thought it was still worth going through since I doubt anybody else is going to document this thing. It's worth noting that there are versions of this for every other character.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just happened to get this one since these two are my favorite.
Yeah, I like them quite a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining.
Thus finally ends the Tenchi Muyo arc.
Unless I force you to watch all the other Tenchi series with me.
I would love to do that. I would love an excuse to talk more about that show.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys. My neck hurt.